We're at the beginning of the podcast, by the way.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the podcast. We did not forget. So we've actually gotten a really cool offer from Wooting to give away one of their keyboards to one of you guys. So I think the plan right now, like, I don't want to do like follow us all on Twitter, retweet, blah blah blah.
Follow Miss Cousin.
I think what we want to do is create a Google form where you can submit your clips to have like a community frag video, and anybody who submits anything will be entered in just like a random poll. We'll just give it to anybody who submitted something. It doesn't have to be like crazy. It doesn't have to be good. It should be like relatively short and have a highlight. Because I do want to make something out of this.
Yeah, like a synced frag video like the one Matty got for the announcement.
Yeah, it'd be so fun.
That's
and yeah, there's a chance to win a Wooting. Do they get a choice, or is it a specific model?
I don't know. Sorry, I'd have to double check.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put everything in a pinned comment or something, all the info.
And if you don't know, the Wooting is like the GOAT Hall effect keyboard. Like, there is literally no better keyboard for playing games.
You can have my old Wooting, and I'll take the ADHD. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Submit your clips.
And join the Discord. Welcome to Raw Input, episode number 4. And today,
I hit recording.
Let's introduce the special guest first. MattyOW, welcome.
Hello, I am MattyOW, Destroyer of Dots.
Did you know that if you look up your Twitter handle without the underscore, MattyOW comes up?
Yeah, some random guy that I'm leeching from. Oh no. But yeah, how's everyone?
We're good, we're
I think
good.
we've all been pretty good.
I woke up like 4 hours ago.
Nice.
Me too.
I actually got up like somewhat early today, which is
What's early for you, Lo?
9. I think I woke up.
Oh, no, that's
Really?
that's respectable.
Yeah, I woke up at 9.
I think you say like 12.
No.
This is 1 a.m. for me.
Okay,
Oh,
that makes
shit.
sense.
Let's get this show on the road then.
Yeah, let's get going. Don't want to keep
Nah,
it
like
too late.
I'm a night owl, so this is how it works for me.
Yeah.
But wait, what time is it for y'all again?
5
It's like
p.m.
5 p.m.
It's
Oh,
5:21.
that's chill. That's chill.
Alrighty, so let's have you introduce yourself a bit for the people who aren't as into the scene, I suppose. So, who are you?
Well, I am Voltaic MattyOW, and I'm the winner of the Rebel Ready Check tournament back in 2023. I joined Voltaic a little bit earlier before that, and ever since then, I've been pretty much every day setting a new high score on some random scenario in Kovacs or Aim Labs, or Aim Beast if you're into that. And yeah, I coach. I do a lot of things. I go to college, and I'm also just
You
like
should promote your new
extremely
video,
addicted to
actually.
aim trainers. What?
Promote your YouTube. New video.
True.
Like on my new video. Yeah,
Yeah,
check out my
the
channel
tech one.
for attack FPS guide on the new category for linear clicking and attack FPS in general.
You upload on YouTube, you stream on Twitch, you do it all.
Yeah. I don't prioritize YouTube too much, but I get a couple videos out every now and then being like a month in between. But
Is
I
it
stream on
something you
Twitch on
think you'd ever
weekends.
want to prioritize?
Not really. Honestly, like
Interesting.
no, I grew up, or like when I was getting into this space, I was watching a ton of like XQC. So I always wanted to be a streamer above a YouTube content creator.
It makes sense, honestly. It's probably a better choice if you've already got like an audience. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like monetarily.
It's also like I think it's more chill, like being a streamer. Like I just play games. I don't have to worry about like too much editing and stuff. Like if I wanted to go into YouTube, I could just get an editor. But that's when I get like a few more subs. Like 50K? I don't know.
Subscribe to MattyOW on Overwatch or on YouTube.
On Overwatch.
And we'll have consistently edited content weekly.
Go now.
Or follow my Twitter where I post really bad Overwatch takes.
I like
Your
the
comments are crazy.
I don't really
How many
care.
of the takes do
I
you like
just,
fully believe, or is it just like riling up the Overwatch players? What
on it,
remains?
like some of them, it's just like my Twitter personality is like so much different from like serious aim personality.
Mm.
I some of this stuff is rage bait. Like I actually just try to anger the Overwatch community.
Real.
Like the tier list.
I think it's justified.
The tier list. Have you guys seen the tier list?
I don't think
I
It
think
was,
so.
It was the hero tier list where I rated them by skill, and it was
Oh
like,
my god.
and by skill, it's like, well, I'm MattyOW. What is it?
Right.
What is
It's the
skill
aim
to me?
skill, yeah.
So, yeah, that was kind of rage bait, but also kind of I hate Winston players. So,
Did it work,
well,
by the way?
understandable.
Did you bait the Overwatch players?
oh, it got like 1 million views. Got 1 million views. I got a death threat. Like it's GG's.
Let's go.
That's how you know you made it when you get death threats.
From the Overwatch community. From other
You don't have to
communities.
do much to get them from Overwatch community though.
You ever talk to the Siege community?
Oh no.
God
Are
no.
they're bad?
I'm scared.
Pretty sure, like, wait, who you guys play COD, right? So
Well, I do, yeah.
how bad is the COD community?
It's pretty bad, but I would say the Siege community is worse. Much.
I think if you take COD and like the worst parts of the Counter-Strike community and combine them, you get the Siege community.
Ooh.
If someone tells me they play Siege, it's immediately like a red flag in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Swipe left.
You play anything else, please?
I think that's different now. Like we got streamers
Really?
like Jinxie changing things up, but yeah, you still get pockets of pretty bad toxicity in Siege.
Mhm.
I know I got flamed a lot when I played.
Fun fact.
And like yeah.
TAC FPS, in terms of TAC FPS, like Siege is the one TAC FPS I kind of don't mind because it's not
Really?
because if you look at
Is it
the
the movement?
bullet spread, right?
Okay.
Mm.
I like
The
Terrace
bullets
does.
actually go where your crosshair is compared to like Valorant or
Yeah,
Counter
I
Strike.
get that. It's one of those mechanics that if you're into the genre, it's like second nature to you. But it's such a crazy high barrier of entry because it's such a, TAC FPS specific mechanic that it kind
Actually-
of, I wouldn't say like supplants aim, but it will be a huge limiter until you get really used to it.
I'm actually quite happy that Counter-Strike added the follow recoil. I think it's a really good, like, I don't know, half solution maybe.
Yeah, good for learning if nothing else.
What is that for someone that doesn't play Counter Strike?
Usually when you spray, your bullets will go significantly above your crosshair. This just makes your crosshair go where the bullet is, and it like adjusts in real time. So all you have to do is keep the crosshair on the person instead of like memorizing the pattern and then having to like pull down for it.
I haven't played Counter Strike in a while.
I've been
So I
playing
wouldn't
a bit
know.
recently actually. It's not bad. I've been enjoying it.
Well, last time I played, I
miss
got
CS:GO.
clipped by Viscos Izzy. So
Right.
I
How have your
deleted it.
matchmaking adventures been?
Not awful. I've versed a lot of curious characters. Last time I was ranked was CSGO, and since then I've been demoted from global to Master Guardian 2. So,
What a noob.
So I'll
You gotta
probably
coach
keep
me in
playing. It's been
Counter-Strike.
fun. I'm down. If you want to learn.
Don't do it. She'll make you play free for all and then she'll clip you.
That is true, yeah.
That's what she did to me.
She's ended up in like 3 videos from that
You should
clip.
just boost me.
I'll join for that.
No,
I think we forgot to mention your hour count across aim trainers as well. 'cause
Yeah,
that's quite a
actually.
staggering value.
Really?
What is
Like-
it?
So I have 5,500 hours on across all aim trainers, like combined.
Mhm.
I actually didn't think that was like that staggering of a number.
It is
Like,
because
I-
it's
It's
aim
staggering.
trainers. Because like if you see someone with 5.5k in TF2, you're like, okay, that's a lot, but like people have like 20k. I think you're the only one with 5.5k.
no, there are more.
Really?
Ooh.
I
didn't
would
know that,
say
actually.
for Matty's like skill level relative to other players with extreme hour counts, like that hour count is relatively low.
I think that's quite fair.
because there
I-
are definitely people with 5,000 hours.
I've seen people with. I've actually seen an account with 10K hours, and it's like a Japan account. Which, by the way, the Japanese aimers, they go crazy. But yeah, I didn't think that 5,500 was that much. I think it's getting up there. Like, I play aim trainers every day. But there's gonna be players like Slapped, who plays like every scenario. There's gonna be players like, I think Hibiverny is one of the new players that like they're reaching my hours a week spent on aim trainers.
That's
On
cool.
my recently played like friends list going down, there's one with 4,000, and this is just on Kovacs. There's one with 4,000. There's you, Matty, with 3.5. There's one with 2.5. There's one with 4.5. There's one with just under 3. There's a lot.
That's
There's
pretty
a lot
impressive,
of people with
actually.
a lot of hours, and
I think if you're outside of the community, though, that is an insane number. People
Oh,
will say
absolutely.
like 60 hours in aim trainers. That's insane.
That's just because it's aim trainers.
yeah,
Like, it's just because of the sound. Like, you spent your whole life on aim trainers, or like you spent this many. How many days is that? I mean,
about half a year.
Viscos, do you want to have that like goat discussion that happened in general with Dark the other day?
What was it?
It's kind of fun, but it
What
maybe
the
let's step on
like?
some toes. Like the gap.
Oh
between
yeah,
first and second
okay.
best.
There was a discussion about. Sorry, one sec. There's a cat in here, and she makes me sneeze. So
Get her out.
You want me to come remove her?
Misty?
No, it's okay. I can't touch her because I'll sneeze more.
Okay.
So
Misty, get the fuck out.
it's okay. I'll go
Is it
grab my
Misty?
That's too bad. It is Misty. So yeah, there was a chat in the general chat of the server the other day about who was the best at their skill period. Like who is the most dominant in their
Yes.
like game of choice. And you know, like Emrek came up, he was a big one.
But before you keep going, what would be your answer, Matty? The biggest gap
To-
between the best player and like the rest of the player base.
in terms of subcategories or just everything.
This is like any game.
Like
So,
any
like,
skill,
you
not
know,
just
us, Counter Strike.
That's a hard one.
It's a hard question for sure.
Okay, well, we've seen Donk absolutely shred the Counter-Strike scene recently.
That is true, but there is like a legacy issue here where he's like still so new that you can't put him in like the same conversation as Rafa.
Right.
He's also not like untouchable. Like you know, Nico beats him in duels right now, like head to head.
I just think, I mean, I don't really pay attention too much to the big pro scenes anymore, like of any game.
That's fair.
But I'd say like he's showing the most promise to develop that kind of gap, especially since he's so young.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think some other picks of mine that I always like go back to and watch is Monesi, Zaiwu, those kind of players for Counter-Strike. Let's see. For
No Simple
Valorant,
mention.
wait, who?
Is that a simple?
Simple.
Is it a
He hasn't
mechanics
really
bias?
been. I feel like he hasn't really been showing himself a lot for Counter-Strike 2. I don't know why. Like I feel like I see much less of him now. So there's this gap now, and I can't. Like, where is he? I can't place him. And then in Valorant, I'd say like, okay, the best Valorant aimer in my opinion is Fluorescent. I'm just gonna put that out there now.
Our goat.
I agree.
She is just the best Valorant aimer.
Did
I
you
think
see that she's like carrying in mixed teams now?
I did see that, and
That's really cool.
Still losing.
they were still falling behind, but like she was she top fragging, but like
By
20
like a
kills or
lot.
something. So yeah, I'm definitely proud of it. I think Sarah Frags is close behind her.
I agree actually.
No?
I think Sarah's really good mechanically.
Anytime I need Valorant footage, she's probably one of the first frag videos I'll go to.
I love Sarah just because she has her roots in Call of Duty.
Yeah, the old COD like
So
TS
cool.
videos.
Yeah.
I
Bad Pat
really like
target
the vibe
switch.
of her old videos. Her Left 4 Dead 2 video goes crazy.
I don't know. I can't really think of anyone else because I don't pay attention to the pro scenes of any game.
That's fair. Any other skills that you've been a part of?
Not really. Like
Speedrunning scenes.
like the speed run, I don't pay attention too much to that stuff. So like even in my own like disciplines like computer science and stuff, like I don't see anyone with like a huge gap over second place, or I don't really take a look at that stuff. Like I'm all gaming.
That's fair. That's fair. Do we have any answers? I think MREC is the most obvious one.
I think so too.
And people had this conversation of like, did he or Cookiesy have like the stronger legacy? And I think nowadays people are saying it is MREC.
Is that for O's? Is he?
That's for O's,
Yeah.
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 This is probably a bit of an alienating conversation, but like Cookiesy was like by far the best player in his time, got banned for 2 years, came back and was like still the best player. And people are still saying that MREC currently is more dominant.
What did he get banned for?
He intentionally cheated to get banned.
Oh,
Why?
I think he just wanted to stop playing, was kind of bored of having no competition. And you can't delete your account, so
The
it's only way
aura
to do it.
of that.
It is. He became like a mythical character. He got
That's-
banned like
that's
right
pretty
before I started
powerful.
playing. And then everybody else wanted to be him.
I've never touched Osu.
That's kind of interesting to me, actually.
I wonder if like would I even be that great at Osu?
I
don't
think
know.
if you picked up Relax, where you don't have to hit the keys, you would immediately be like way above the average player.
Relax
First
is
thing.
really fun, actually. I think you'd really enjoy it. And there's a 3D mode you can play, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Actually,
it's-
Hippie Vernier is really good at the 3D mode. I've actually never seen anybody better.
Yeah, because like 2D aim gets me dizzy. I don't know how to like solve that. Whenever I do the human benchmark 2D aim trainer, it's like, oh, I can't do this.
I don't like it
Or
either.
Is it because like your eyes like follow the cursor?
I think so. Or
Huh.
it could be something up with it. Like I just can't. It gets me dizzy and it gets me like very not accurate. Like I can still hit the targets, but it's not consistent.
Mhm.
So
Oh, you should try the 3D mode then. That would be really cool to see.
I'm
Is it free?
curious now. It is free.
Yes, it is. It's really hard to read for me as somebody with a lot of time in FPSs and O's, but I'm curious if I don't know, you get technique carried.
I guess I'll check it out of the podcast.
Have you ever played JD?
Oh, I've tried it. I've tried OC, but it's too much for me. Like I feel like if I got into it when I was like 15, I would have loved it. But like I don't know.
I can
My
see
old
that.
bones can't keep out of it now.
Yeah, I feel that.
You too, the goose. I'm not old.
Okay, but
I've
that game,
got arthritis.
it's different.
Can't do it. I need to shoot my gun as well. As much as I did enjoy it when I did play it, it was hard. I didn't really know what was going on, but I need more stimulation on my screen. Like when you think of ADHD, that is me to the max. I just need something happening every 2 seconds. Otherwise, I
And
can't
yet
do
you
it.
hate the brown noise.
I hate the brown noise because you know what I listen to when I play aim trainers? I listen to like fucking electronic music and stuff. Brown noise is too boring. Like I need constant like.
I see.
Yeah.
You liked brown noise, didn't
Skrillex.
you, Matty?
Brown noise, like I don't know what that did to me for like a little bit in tracking. That got me like 5, 8, 9, 9 Aeronons in a row. No
You
900.
heard it here
Yeah.
first.
But 5, 8, 9, 9s.
Was that after
No,
the
900.
podcast episode?
I'm not sure, but I think it was. I don't remember when you recommended it to me, but I started listening to that, and I think I liked it. So
Yeah.
I don't do it anymore though.
Why not?
It didn't stick. Must
Well,
not be good.
I just like I guess I forgot about it or like
Didn't
Stop doing
establish
it.
it as like a habit.
Too ADHD to remember coping habits.
I still listen to podcasts like this or like Ron Mango podcasts like True Crime when I'm aim training. And if not, and if I'm playing like something that I'm really trying to get a score with, I just clover it and I listen to absolute silence.
I like that.
People say
He's
that
like
makes
a
me schizo.
psychopath for that. I don't
That-
know. I
that is
don't get it. I
really
can't do it.
That's
You're locked
funny.
in.
You need to
I thought
hear the
you
hit
were.
sounds.
Is there anybody else want to add to that like goat discussion? There is that Mario 64 speedrunner, right? He's got like world record in every category.
Who
I
is
don't
it?
really know enough about like SM64 speedrunning, but
I watch
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of speedruns. I don't watch like Nintendo games. I watch like Resident Evil and stuff.
Interesting. I didn't know like Ari had like a big speedrunning scene.
Oh yeah. Carcinogen. There's there's another guy I watch. I forget his name right now, but there's like a big community for it. There's trance as well. Usually when I'm falling asleep, I put on like a speed run, like a RE
It's
speed run
cool.
or a Silent Hill speed run. I just know the games really well, so
Mm.
don't have to concentrate hard. But yeah, I don't really watch Mario too much.
That's fair.
Have you
Wasn't a
played
big part of my
many
childhood.
many single player games, Matty? Because like I have
That's a
played a
good
lot.
question.
JD has played a lot. Pingu
lot.
has played like none ever.
Oh, come
And
on.
that like single player
Really?
story focused games. Like, what was the last one you played?
I think Skyrim.
When was that?
When
Was
it came out.
2013? Yeah. Fuck you. That doesn't count.
I mean, I'm playing Path of Exile right now. That's pretty
No.
fun. That's kind of a single player game.
Yeah.
I
would love it.
Is it the first time you played it?
No, I played PoE 1 and I loved it.
Okay. How many hours do you have? It strikes me as the kind of game where you'll end up with 1,000.
Let's see. I have 26 hours in PoE 2 so far and 400, almost 400 in PoE 1.
Yep, that's striking.
I love these kind of games. I grew up
Me
playing
too.
like Diablo 2. I grew up playing like Diablo 3. It's kind of weird because you wouldn't think that I have like if you see me now as like an aim trainer and FPS player, like if you looked at me when I was like between 9 and 12 years old, you wouldn't think that I would ever go into FPS ever.
That's interesting. You started late, didn't you? Because you played like it was Overwatch. That was one of your first ones, yeah.
It was Counter-Strike in 2015, I think.
How old were you?
Same as me.
That's pretty
actually.
cool.
It was like 2015. That was when I was 13, 14.
Wow. Okay.
That is late.
Yeah.
I think most
played-
people would say like, if you started playing chess that late, it's too late for you.
Really?
I think so.
I think so too for chess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rank status.
I mean,
No,
like,
but I
I know
play
started
silver.
playing FPS at like 5 or
Yeah.
something.
Same.
Yeah, I play silver in Counter-Strike and I also play silver in Overwatch. So that it was like, so baby Matty was like really, really, really bad at aiming. Even though like besides that, I did have like a ton of hours in Unreal Tournament 2004. Like a lot of people know that that's kind of where I came from in terms of FPS, but I didn't take anything seriously. Like I played Unreal Tournament offline. I played the campaign mode. So that's kind of a single player game for me as well.
It's interesting. Have all of you played like the old boomer shooters single
Yes.
player?
Yeah. I didn't have internet until I was like 10.
And do I have the most hours multiplayer?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
You might.
That's so strange. Because
many
I've
hours
never played
multiplayer do you
single player
have?
ones. Do you count TF2 or no?
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's a problem then.
Tell me.
It's probably
That
gonna
number
be,
is
like,
now
a bit over 4K.
confidential.
How much? Sorry.
A bit over 4K.
In multiplayer only, or
Yeah, AFPSs, yeah.
no?
Sheesh.
I have more in single player, for sure.
What? You've got 5,000 hours in Doom?
Well, are you counting like all single player games or just like?
No, just the
offline?
AFPSs.
Oh, then you probably beat me.
Okay, thank
But
God.
I would say it's probably up there. It's probably like 1.5K if I had to guess.
That's pretty cool, because like Quake was a comfort game for you, wasn't it?
It was my dad got me into it, so I would play offline against the bots and stuff, but I didn't have internet for the longest time. So, and then even when I did get internet, I didn't play online for like probably another 3 years after that. So I was too scared to go online. But
I see.
yeah, I had an old PC and I would play like Quake and Doom and all that, but I would only play against bots. My very first like online shooter was MW2. And that was when I was like 10, so yeah.
How many of us like played against bots a lot?
Me.
Me?
I think we all did. not counting game training, I probably do have like a couple hundred hours just fighting bots in like various games.
Oh, it's more than
Yeah.
that for me. I know, like, my Steam account used to be my dad's as well, but it has 450 hours on Battlefield 2. And I played like 2 games online, and I don't know how much my dad played that game.
That's
But
cute.
I
Battlefield
definitely
2,
have at least a few hundred that are like my
Battlefield
hours.
Vietnam. Those are
That
like
one
the
was good.
yes, it
Mm.
was. I only ever played against bots, and I could play
Those
it
are
for
good
hours.
like anti-bot games though. I played Battlefront 2 in a similar fashion.
Battlefront 2? I played Battlefront 1, but I played online.
Yeah, but you played the new one, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, the 2015 one on PS4.
Disgusting.
I feel like some of these games are so old, like I don't even have hour counts on them. The ones that I played. Like I
what?
played them like on like disc, so I didn't.
Oh, me
didn't
too.
have
Oh
them on
my
Steam
God.
and
Disc.
stuff.
Which games?
That's dated.
Just Unreal Tournament,
Oh yeah, I see.
and like even older. Listen, I was a huge RTS player. Like I wasn't even an FPS player. I only
FPS.
played Unreal Tournament.
Really?
StarCraft, Warcraft,
Oh
Mm.
my.
I remember
favorite games.
being like really hyped for the Steam release of Rise of Nations 2 because our copy of the disc had so many like scratches it wasn't like readable anymore. So it's a rebuy it on Steam.
What was your first ever game, Matty?
Wait, what?
What was your first ever game? The first game you ever played?
It probably was either. Oh no, it was. It was GTA Vice City.
Fuck yes! I fuck with that heavy. I had that shit on PS2.
That
It
was
was
a
so
long time ago. And then after that, it was Warcraft 3, and then Kingdom Hearts. And
Kingdom Hearts.
those define the childhood that I lived.
This is interesting to me. So when did it shift to become an appreciation for mechanics?
Dare I say Minecraft? Dare I say Minecraft?
That's awesome, actually.
Really? So
I like that.
in like 2014, I was introduced to like Hypixel and stuff and like PvP, and so I went down the year's worth of rabbit hole of like, oh, this is how you increase your clicks per second. This is how you actually this is how you W tap. This is how you're supposed to throw your potion to heal you in Minecraft PvP. And then I went really deep with the competitive scene of that. And I think it shaved like 4 years off my wrist lifespan from here, but I'd say it's worth it. It was really fun.
Actually, we can relate this to a question. Hang on. There was one about like wrist health. Was that written down? Yeah. Have any of you suffered from wrist pains? If so, how do you go about fixing it? From Woisty. So, Matty, you can go first on this one. I have something to add, but not that much. So, go crazy with it.
I've done about a year and a half worth of work with 1HP. Shout out MattyOW. He set me up with a bunch of exercise routines, and I've been doing like wrist stretches, wrist extensor, like strengthening, and I had to buy like a couple of new dumbbells because I don't have any dumbbells, just to lift weights with my wrist, and it's been helping me out a lot because I remember when I was training for the Rebel Ready check, like I firmly believed that was the one opportunity that I was gonna ever have to like win a tournament in aim training. So like I was locked in. Like, I was making sure that I win it. But
How many
in
hours a
doing
day,
that,
do you reckon?
wait, what?
How many hours a day do you reckon? Because I remember you playing.
That's
this a
when I hit
lot.
8 to 9.
Damn.
And
It's a grind.
Grind set.
Yeah.
and it was only on those 9 scenarios. So you can imagine how boring that was.
Oh my god.
Those 9 scenarios, like 1 or 2 a day, 9 hours a day. And in trying to ensure it, I kind of almost fully messed up my wrist, and then like 1 HP and exercising bailed me out of that. So I for anyone like struggling with like wrist health problems, or if you have pain, like even if it's not just your wrist, like, you know, you should do strengthening. You should do like the stretches, like it's gonna help you.
For sure. That basically reflects my experience with OS as well. Towards the end of my time at that game, I had to start looking into those kinds of options to not fully destroy my wrist forever. And yeah, making sure that you're generalized posture isn't causing any strain permanently is a good first step. And then, yeah, strengthening stretches. And we'll put these, some of the resources you mentioned on screen here so people can get an idea for what kind of stretches and like in the description.
Yeah.
I think for 1 HP, it's like recently I've been doing calisthenics with them, so I'm like branching out to other things
Really?
to get other
Liv
benefits.
has been talking about that too. He says it's like, I don't know, made him like crazy focused now. When playing
He's the one who
Gridshot.
inspired me to do that. Clover.
That's cool. So what are you doing?
Just push-ups, basic stuff, planks,
I see.
squats, the usual things. And I'm like, they're asking me to like record like my aim training progress through it to see if there's any like
That's
cognitive
cool.
benefits.
There actually were
So,
people
we'll
asking
see.
about that, but I guess we'll find out once you finish your study.
I'd say do it. Like even if you're like even a little bit like worried about it, like, oh, is this gonna impact me at any point in my career? Like I would just say start something little now, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Get in the habit of just doing the stretches before you start playing or after you stop playing, because it's best when it's done preventatively.
Okay.
Now that you mention, actually, I did do some stretches from 1 HP. Like, I think it was back in 2020. I have tendonitis from riding, actually, not even from aiming, but playing was making it flare up, and I had to take 2 weeks off. And throughout that 2 weeks, I did a lot of stretches. And since then, I've had like no issues with wrist pain. So maybe it was, I don't know, effective. I think my input here is like definitely don't keep pushing yourself if like you are experiencing hand pains.
Yeah.
It will just make it worse, honestly.
Oh yeah, I mean the times that I've been sore, I've stopped playing.
Mhm.
That's probably why it hasn't gotten worse.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The Mad Bad Man horror story.
Yeah.
Playing through
Oh my
like
God.
the burning pains.
It has to be done.
The price of progress.
I mean, Matty, you couldn't really stop before the ready check, right? Because like you grind really hard. Okay, you take 2 weeks off before the tournament, and then like, it might not be as guaranteed as it was. So that was a, I don't know, tough situation to be in, I imagine.
It was like mentally taxing because like you begin to doubt, right? I remember like talking to Siba and like it was a lot of doubt going into it because I was dealing with wrist problems and I was like, wait, am I actually, there's no way I choke this after I spent like 2 months doing this.
2 months.
Well, actually, freaking, they put in a balanced target switching scenario in the final elimination round. And yeah, you guys almost saw me choke against Neon because it's my worst category that they put in.
The
nightmare.
chat in the Discord server just going fucking crazy with like no way, choke.
But then they put in XY click, which is my best scenario on Aim Labs. So yeah.
That was
And I
very cool
saved
to
it.
watch live. That was really cool.
I think it adds to it. It would not have been epic if I didn't have that little like moment.
Yeah. Provides a storyline.
Is he human?
Yeah.
That actually kind of leads us into a question that we had last time of like, how would you do competitive aim training, like tournaments, in terms of format?
Okay, well, I didn't really enjoy the fact that the Rebel Ready check pit me against a pro player who
Right.
did not have like the same amount of time spent. I think that robbed the final spot of Neon or like someone else. But I think the best way to probably do it moving forward, like you guys have seen the recent Aim Lab like mini comps and other things that people are setting up. It's kind of like long term. You could do it like the Kovacs League, where you set it across several weeks. I don't think that that's the best for like fostering this like large popular tournaments. I think if you wanted to do it, you have to have like the same format as the Rebel Ready check. So give them 2 tries, 3 tries, and whatever high score goes. You just pit them against each other 1v1.
Yeah.
Or you could do that over like a longer period of time, right? Like what if you were to have like a scenario, it's like a month-long competition, but every person can only do like 3 tries and no resets.
That's crazy. Like
With
that would be
achieve the
offline, of
similar
course.
effects, like Yeah, yeah.
I think the problem is that you cannot make it into an event.
Hmm.
But otherwise, it's a pretty compelling format, yeah.
I like what Voltaic and RA was planning, like the Yuki thing. I forget when this was, but
Like 2022.
You
The
brought
planned
that up
one?
last podcast. didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
Oh, you
was
did?
cool. Yeah.
I think what they were trying to do was like teams. I wanted to see that happen. I want to see like teams of 3, and it's not just the aim groups. It could be like any teams of 3, not split by orgs or anything.
That'd be cool.
That would be
Uh,
really cool, actually. Small teams, so
switching,
you can't have a
clicking.
specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Like clicking,
That's cool.
tracking, switching specialist, and then whatever the scenario is, you put the person in.
You like
So that way, I could focus on dynamic or like static.
So you're thinking you will do it like send in a player as opposed to like all 3 of you have to play the scenario and you combine your score.
Yeah, or it doesn't have to be like subcategory focused either. It could just be tag team. Like the do a random roll in the scenario of a list of scenarios, and then you see the scenario, and then you're like, and then you have to debate, like, oh, should I send our switching player in, even though this is like more like say it's TAM target switch or something, and it's more of a tracking oriented switching scenario. Like, do we send our switching player in, or do we
should
send Clover in?
That's what I was
the
thinking.
tracking player for like the super focused tracking sense?
Yeah,
We can
like
gap everyone.
fucking like WWE, you know, like wrestling shit. Like
It's like a
And say we
Pokemon
don't
battle with
know.
aim trainer players.
Right? Say we don't know that the scenario is tracking oriented. We just see the name and we see TS next to it and be like, okay, we send our TS player in, but what if
That's
it's
messed up.
yeah. You have to like that way. It's a lot more focused on the decisions that the team makes, rather
Okay.
than
That
you
is
know.
pretty cool.
that would be
I like
so
that.
fun to watch.
Imagine you could hear the comms too.
Yeah, you have to tune into their VCs. You make them like wait to discuss.
And there's a million scenario names out there. So it could be
Yeah.
anything. You could be like, oh, Eth micro track. What is Eth micro track? Who should we send in for that?
I kind of like that actually.
Me too.
Having to figure out what the scenario is based on the name.
VT Twister Control TS.
I was thinking like the
Frog House. Tornado track.
That clip is burned into my brain, Matty.
Me
The
too.
Pyro
Frog
Split,
House
or-
Smooth.
Yeah, Frog
Yes,
House
so
Smooth.
good.
It was the cadence he said it into. Like I don't know, and
Do you
it
see
was
the
so
clip?
instant.
We have to play it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, Frog House Smooth.
That's the funniest thing to exclaim after you're getting a kill. And the delay, before we realized what was just said, let's burst
Yeah.
out.
Frog House Smooth.
I love it.
I miss the finals.
You
I wish I
should
could
play
run
it
it.
again.
I wish I could run it at 200 frames. I wish I could.
Okay, good luck.
I still get
Have you
like
played it
80.
since the patch?
What patch? I haven't played it in
Uh,
like months because I kind of just
Ooh. They removed
haven't-
the visual recoil.
really.
Wait.
So it's like
Yeah. So the
goated now?
crosshair is where your bullets go.
I need to try it. Hold on. I'm
You gotta
reinstalling
try
it.
it.
Are you booting it up right now?
No, I'm gonna reinstall it.
Okay.
Let's go.
The hold on confused me.
It's so good though. It's such a fun game.
Yeah, it's really good. A CPU upgrade would still go crazy for you, by the way.
I just got a question from Riley that I kind of like.
What is it?
This is directed to all of us. Who are the aimers / players that you looked up to when you were first starting?
Interesting. Can I go first?
Bardos.
Or-
Yeah, go for
Yeah,
it.
go for it.
You could go. Yeah.
For me, it was interesting because I came from console, right? And
Yeah.
I do remember the very first time I ever saw anybody like on mouse and keyboard, I thought they were cheating. I was like, you can't do that in Call of Duty. Like you just can't, you know? Because I would play on console, I play on PS4 with crossplay off.
Mhm.
And the very first play I ever saw was Noonie FPS. I believe he's in Team EXE right now.
Really? That's cool.
Yes, and I saw he had like, I don't know if it was his pinned or his most recent. It was an MW 2019 clip. It was on Shipment, and he was like He was flicking from target to target. I remember because I was talking about it with Sleeping Bunnies, and I said we were both PS4 at the time, and I said to him,
That's
I was
so
like, this that you can't do that. Like that's cheating, you know? Like I was so in my own bubble that I didn't realize there was a whole another like world out there, so to say.
So you have an alternate perspective now when you get comments from console players on your
Yes,
video being like, "You're
because
cheating, you can't do
I
that."
always think when someone comments that on my like tweets or my posts, you know, my YouTube or whatever, I always think like this is probably an 80 FPS console player that has like default settings, doesn't know anything about aiming, doesn't know anything about COD, you know? They get on and they play after work. I always like just picture that in my mind because I was that person where I was like I said, I saw Noonie FPS and then I branched out a little. I went to YouTube. My top three, like, top three M&K aimers when I first got into it, it was the gaming definition, Faulty L3, and Nate Gibson. Those three were like, I just could never ever imagine myself playing like those three.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I just want to say, okay, this is a flex. All three of them follow me on Twitter now.
That's so cool.
Eventually, I got there. Eventually, I was like, these people aren't cheating. They're actually just very, very good. But yeah, that's my answer. There you go, Riley. Anyone else?
You want to go, Matty?
I'll go. I did say Bardas before you started. That's the obvious one for aim training. When I started aim training, I did a bunch of static clicking. I was basically a clicking man. So if Bardas didn't exist, I probably would not exist. So I think it's the same.
Did you start playing before like Bardos was known in the community, or
Was that be around like 2020?
that would be late 2020?
I think I started playing like before that, like a year before that, but that was the Tile Frenzy era. So it's just out the window. And it was like, during that time, I kind of just threw out aim training because I played Tile Frenzy for 20 hours and I didn't come back until Pingu's video. I didn't come back until Pingu's video. Right.
That's cool.
So you're also That's you're crazy. Also why I exist in the aim community.
Wow. This is getting me to think about like the butterfly effect here.
Oh yeah.
Like what small elements of my life could have changed for me to have not made that video, and then we would not have Matty Overwatch.
You would have caused so many players to still have their world records today, and me not sniping them.
My bad. That's really.
But
cool.
I would say, how could you do this to me? But you also got me in aim training with that video, so it doesn't.
I think
what a strange feeling.
I think some more things like in games, like I remember there's one video, Viscos, of yours that I continuously returned throughout the years. It's like stupid flicks or something.
That one.
Oh my god. Maybe that's why it keeps getting picked up by the algorithm.
Maybe. It's got like a million, not a million. It's got like a lot more views than it should have recently. It's like, it's got more views than some of my like real videos.
That video was when I didn't know who you were when I first saw that, and it was like, oh, I want this kind of aim, and I want that kind of aim in Overwatch. So that's what.
I'm sorry for being a bad influence.
What do you mean?
That style in Overwatch, I don't know. I couldn't do it at that time. I don't know if I could now.
Maybe was that like the Erpa flick stuff?
Yeah.
Maybe I should give it an experiment and try to run that now. But back then when I watched that video all the time, it was like, yeah, I want to be like Viscos. I want to be like Bardas. So
that's cool.
It's really cute.
Those are my idols.
Thank you.
Guess I'll go then. I don't know if I've talked about this before of like the people who have influenced my style over the years, because there are like a few different eras of seeing a video that like changes my brain chemistry. And the first one was when I was first getting into TF2. There's a player named Clockwork who had still to this day very smooth aim and like a very active style of clicking where it's pretty tracking heavy. And I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. And he was also like the most consistent player by far at the time. So yeah, I had a nice foundation of smoothness there. And it wasn't until I saw the player Scrublil did I have like any sort of like paradigm shift in terms of like stylistic, what I wanted my aim to look like. I saw him play Diabolical. He was just doing like these absurdly fast flicks that I just could not even comprehend. And I had just gotten into Mouse Excel, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this.
R.I.P. Diabolical.
Rips. You want to hop on? Actually, there's a bit of a revival in the server.
As long as it's not the new Rogue version.
What the
I
hell? I forgot you're a hater.
What a hater, yeah, I was about to say.
I don't like Rogue. I want like the true unfiltered arena FPS.
OG.
Yeah, you're right. The original is better. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, he's also like really good at a whole bunch of different games, and he carried that like really fast, rigid, fast flicking style to all of those games and performed way better than I do even now. One second, the cat wants out. Misty, get out of here. Come on.
Misty, you're interrupting the podcast.
Flash videos of Misty while this is happening.
Yeah.
And then I think aside from like you and Riley getting me to like push that speed further in a more functional way, the only other stylistic one would be probably Snowy. It's a very pretty aiming style, and maybe like want to incorporate more of that smoothness back into my aim again.
Did that influence your peripheral choices as well? Because I know Snowy was like crap at
A
M2K
little bit. I
and 1K.
don't think so in terms of like the glass or fingertip, but in terms of cutting mice in half, yeah.
R/mouse score.
But I think that's it for me.
I guess it's just me, and actually it works kind of well because Scrubble is one who I'd name as well. I think watching some of my older stuff and even newer stuff to some extent, and like Scrubble's older stuff, you can see like the resemblance. I think at least, very, very snappy, very quick, and yeah, very rigid. And the others would be all of this was back when I played mainly Counter-Strike, so like. WAF is another one who also has a very similar style. Just like clips that at the time I saw them were genuinely like brain breaking to me. I was like, how the fuck can you do that?
Yeah.
And then after I got a name training, yeah, Scrubble was kind of in the middle of that. And then Rela was the other one who was really good at target switching. And that was kind of my introduction to that skill set, I guess. More recently, I can't not name Hollow because I don't know. There are so many parts of his aim that you can like break down and analyze and like talk about what like he's doing to make his aim look so good that isn't just brute force mechanics. And I think that's awesome. Like his integration of prediction into his aim, which is usually something you want to really avoid. Like it's flawless. You'll never see him mispredict because like he knows when he should and shouldn't. As well as things like animation reading or movement reading generally. He's just really, really good at it. And I think that's really cool. Like, not brute forcing. Like in Kovacs, I'm a lot better than Hollow, but he destroys me in Apex every single time, like without fail. So I think because of that, there's a lot you can learn from players like him. So I think that's the 4 I want to name.
In Apex, I need to hop on R5 again.
Oh, the R5 is actually really good. Like they keep pushing really nice updates. I prefer it to normal Apex now.
Did it get the visual stuff that they had added for like? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Maybe we should tap in. We could set up a server. I would actually like that a lot because I don't want to play against I don't want to play against the randoms. And I don't want to play against the controller players. But just having like a pretty close community of like nerds, and we just get paired up with each other over and over again in 1v1s. That'd be cool.
I would play it. I'm not much of a Apex player, but I would try.
Good tracking practice.
Yeah, for sure. And then I'd have ego death when I press tab and Viscos is 101.
Oh, I'd be too scared to join.
Really?
Oh, shush. I hate you so much.
That's-
Oh my god. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to stream. I don't want to
Be
join that server.
okay, but,
Meanwhile,
you
you're
know.
like one of the best fucking aimers in the world.
No,
I hate it.
I don't think so. But
Hate it
thank
so
you.
much. Oh,
This is a sign that no matter how good I get, I will still be very nervous.
Nah, lock in. Get Astra. You can do it.
True.
I believe.
Thank you. I'll try.
No, get Celestial.
Oh, well, that's probably never happening. But
No Celestial is like really
hard,
hard,
right?
honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Celestial is cooked. But it's not gonna stop me.
Matty, are you
It hasn't
Celestial?
stopped you, Celestial.
Or-
I'm not Celestial complete yet, but I'm working on it. There is one scenario that is very, very challenging. I played it for 2 hours today. It was Fly TS.
Right.
And I haven't played PGT yet since they got
Okay.
buffed, but I'll play that soon.
Isn't it getting like changed? So
It
or is that
depends
not
on what
final?
Tamas is doing, but I'm pretty sure they will get changed and they will evolve into something different.
What's your thought process with that? Because like with the raw control change, you'll have to get the score again. With the PGT change, you'd have to get the score again if you were to go for it. Is it like demotivating at all, or discouraging for like grinding, or does it not factor?
It doesn't stop me. I mean, if I
guess
had
it
like a
won't take you
score,
that long.
well, it depends. I guess it depends. Like, I know what the scenario is probably gonna change to. I know what like I need to focus on at that point. So it's like, okay, I'll just get it again, I guess. But depends on how much time I spent on the score originally. So if say I spent like, I don't know, like 10 hours on like a really good score, and then it's gone, then yeah, I'd probably get a little bit salty.
Popcorn will
But
take leaderboard reset. Thoughts?
But mostly for season 5, like I haven't been playing most of them. I kind of just grinded it up to Beyond Celestial, and I won't grind it too much more unless I feel like it. So it's not too much of a problem.
I love your initial answer though. Doesn't stop me. I like that a lot.
Or a monster.
That is cool.
I've got another good question here. What do you think the future of aim training looks like, and how bright it seems? What do we think might be the next barrier that we need to break before aim training becomes truly mainstream? Something like a new Gridshot Piperless and getting a pro to endorse us for winning a huge tourney, or maybe just funding. And this question's from MattyOW.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted you guys' thoughts on that one to see like where the head
Okay,
of this
hold on.
community is going.
I have a timeline theory.
Okay.
All right? Elige wins a major on phase, gets interviewed, does like crazy, destroys everybody, gets interviewed, name drops Viscos, says he's GM Kovacs, thanks all of the aim,
Oh yeah.
nerd stuff. Boom. Viscos has 10 million subscribers, and aim training is mainstream.
I feel like this is a dream of mine.
It would be cool. I don't think that alone would do it though, because like, Elige talks about refrag a lot and how refrag is like a really good practice tool in Counter-Strike, and people haven't like flocked to refrag to like,
Okay, but it's different.
grind
What,
refrag.
FaZe Elige?
Yeah, FaZe Elige is the guy promoting refrag, so
Okay, but
No,
major
no.
winner FaZe Elige.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think it'll be a gradual thing of more pros picking it up, because it is happening. More pros are aim training, seeing the value in it, and I think that will be kind of the catalyst. There will be pros who talk about it openly, and a lot of them who talk about it openly and how much it's benefited them. Elige will probably be one of those catalysts, but I can't see it being a singular event that just like boosts aim training like crazy. Because Tens has kind of done that with his Gridshot grinding on stream and the aim lab like stuff, but It didn't
Yeah, that's good
really.
shot.
I know.
It's a
but
Gridshot fallacy.
Yeah.
It shows that like the information about aim training existing is out there. People just haven't like felt the need to try it at a wide scale yet, you know?
I think that if a game came out that had a high enough mechanical ceiling as well,
I
to
agree with that,
where
yeah.
the majority of pros have to be like pretty good at aim trainers, then we'll also see an influx of like,
But
okay,
I mean-
well, if the majority of people are doing it, then I probably should too if I want to compete in this game.
Are we really gonna see that? I feel like no
Yeah.
developer is gonna do that. then. Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
I wish. Like, don't get me wrong, I want that, but
Because like original Overwatch, like if that released today, I feel like probably would be close.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, you know, there are obviously characters that wouldn't need it, but like a lot of people want to play the characters that do
games nowadays
or
cater
would
to the
benefit from it.
noobs.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening.
I do think that it's possible a hero shooter could come out that pushes like hit scan mechanics really hard for like specific heroes. And in that sense, it can still cater to the casual with like the Genji likes and things like that. But you would have this like insanely high skill ceiling for a hit scan class. And if it's viable enough, then it could see some, you know, push
Well,
or like influence in the aim training side.
Marvel
too.
Rivals is pretty big, and I feel like people.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but
Marvel Rivals. I,
When you said that, I just shut up immediately. I'm like, oh.
no. I just don't like the game. Like
Okay.
mechanics are a little bit more rewarded in Rivals than Overwatch, slightly, depending on who you play. I think there needs to be some kind of mindset change. Like it needs to be a combination of those pros that we mentioned endorsing it, plus this shift of content and videos focusing on mechanics. Because like I think I talk about this a lot on my own stream. When Overwatch came out, like you said, like if that came out today and all of it hadn't been developed up to this point, there would be a new focus on aim. Because back when in 2016, 2017, you had tons of videos, like Sure4 videos, aim guides, how to get better aim in every rank. And I think people kind of got tired of that as Overwatch developed and people learned the game. So then all of these videos and content creators started to shift away from mechanics-based content, and they talked about how to rank up with game sense and other things. So I think there needs to be, the pendulum needs to move back over to aim, in my opinion, in the talking space.
I definitely think it could. Like there are videos about aim now getting like really good views. Like the voltaic
Yeah.
one
Right.
about like smoothness generally and fluidity. It's like
I
think
that's
it just
getting
needs to
out
pick
up
there.
the
It's reaching a
momentum.
general audience.
yeah.
Like we're pushing it in the right direction right now with these
I
with this podcast and with the voltaic videos, my videos, your videos, and we just need to pick up that kind of momentum where other content creators, like even bigger ones, like millions of subscribers, begin to pick up on it and then they follow.
I think it's a
Yeah,
good
I
sign
agree.
actually that Fruitberries is really keen on aim training. Like
I'm a
MCPVP is wait, you are Matty?
Yeah, I love root berries.
Yeah, he
That's
he
awesome.
watches your videos and stuff. I don't know.
Wait,
if you know.
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Um
going crazy.
yeah, he's really into aim
Okay.
training, really keen on it. And I think can you guys see Misty? She's back.
No.
I think the Minecraft audience would actually like really like aim training. It seems, you know, considering like Matty, you came from aim training, came from Minecraft to aim training. Same with like Draco, and a few other people, I believe. I
And the
feel like
Minecraft
there is an
community is
audience there.
huge.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there's a certain subset of it that would really like aim training actually. So that's promising, I think.
I will say that Fruitberries is also just a huge dork. So
Maybe a little.
I don't know
but-
if him liking it is
Okay.
in the most positive way possible.
But
Yeah,
like
listen
his
to him.
chat likes it, you know?
I suppose so. That's fair. But he, you know, Like the track
Name
like.
calling, we're bullying.
Okay, dork is like the highest praise I can give to somebody.
It's a compliment though.
Yeah.
Aim
It's
dork.
cool. I didn't know you didn't know he watched your videos, Matty. He checked
I
it.
did
He probably
not.
follows you on Twitter.
I've been a fan of fruit berries for a while. I've been a fan of him. Other like sweaty Minecraft PvPers. It's a forgotten era for me that I need to come back to.
So cool.
That is crazy. I like that.
I bet you two could probably do a stream as well.
That's what I was thinking. I did a stream with him. He taught me Minecraft speedrunning, and I did some like live aim coaching stuff. So you could maybe reach out to him for something similar if you want.
I should learn 1.9 PvP because I don't do that. I used to do like the old sweaty click as fast as you can PvP.
Cool.
Be cool.
There's timing to it now. I hate it.
Yeah.
I
now
have a good
there's,
trigger
like-
finger. I don't have good timing.
They've added there's a lot more stuff now. Like with crossbows, there's crystal PvP, like shield metas and stuff. It's fun. I think I would probably get into that. But in a collaborative
cool.
video with fruit berries, ooh, I would go crazy. Like I give him some aim knowledge. He gives me some like pointers on how to survive on like top light PvP. So that'd be fun.
Yes, that would be
Reach
so
out.
good.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really down to earth.
If you'd like, I can message him after the stream and ask him if he'd be keen.
Maybe. I'll need to have time. I'll need to have time, but I
Okay,
probably will
okay.
make time if you can get that.
All right, I'll let you know.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
I forgot what we were
got
talking
another-
about.
I did too, actually.
Okay, I'm sure we answered it somewhere within that few of words.
Oh, it was the future of aim training.
Oh,
was
yeah,
Matty's
yeah.
question.
We did.
Yeah, I also think it's a good sign that like Valorant content has kind of gone in a surprisingly mechanical direction for what that game is. Like there's a lot of like calm aim videos doing like crazy well, or like stop aiming wrong kind of thing.
Calm aim. Yeah.
But there's another question I want to direct at Matty, which is why does Matty use a wired G Pro? And are there
Oh,
any upcoming
God.
peripherals in your mind that can improve upon your current setup, or do you feel as if you've reached the end game? And this is by Miku Sucks and Cat906.
Wired GPX and the Raiden. Endgame.
I have 12 ratings now. I have
That
12.
is crazy.
The last video you said 8. What happened?
People are making fun of me because I have like 4 5 zeros.
Never mind you, Visco.
Okay,
Shut
it's
up.
like 7.
This guy has 12 ratings.
I'm gapped. I'm actually gapped.
It's so that like say like I run out and these wear down in like 3 years, I will not run out. I do not want to run out of ratings. It's my endgame pad. But the wired G Pro X question. The freaking wired G Pro X question.
Sorry.
I answered this on like the Boardsy podcast a while ago. It was, have you guys ever thought about using the wire drag to help you control your mouse?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
For me, it's that front of the mouse, like extra control makes you feel grounded. So
Okay.
I'll use it on things like static or like some switching scenarios like Vox, where I need to be flicking and I don't want to like end up in a weird position on the pad, or I need that extra control. I don't do wired on G Pro X2 because, you know, for one thing, like I can run like 2K hertz, 4K hertz wireless. And also for like tracking scenarios like PGTI, I want to be a little bit more free. So I'm not going to run the wire on those. But that's my answer for the most asked question on my Twitch stream.
You've gone to an insane level of optimization for this actually. Like
Your latest post
wire
is
wireless and
insane to me.
min-maxing.
Your like specific centimeters for every scenario and stuff.
Oh yeah, my tweet for
Yeah.
like all the settings.
Like I fuck with it. Don't worry, I fuck with it. But it is crazy.
Yeah, it's like, you guys have seen my setup, right? You guys could see the, I think I sent a picture of my setup when you guys were doing a setup rating stream. You guys could see like 3 G Pro X. Now I have 4. and it's just all around my pad. And it would look so foreign and schizo to anyone looking in. Why do you have 4 of the same mouse? But then you turn them over and they all have different skates. So
Of course.
Yeah,
that
I
makes
getcha.
sense.
It's why I probably will end up getting the OP1W 4K because I want to have one with like normal skates and one with the artisan dots on them.
optimization.
Do you
That's
think
so
there's another
funny.
mouse that could be better for you?
Um,
Like, let's say you had the exact same shape and it's half the weight.
like if the G Pro X was 30 grams,
Right.
I feel like, listen, I actually don't really favor sub 40-gram mice or maybe
Interesting.
even sub 50-gram mouse because in my experience, like I've tried the OP1AK, I can actually use it. Like, the shape is, I don't find the shape that bad, but like it's a lot lighter, and I noticed that like to a tiny degree, like the control that I have on it is just not there with the G Pro X. I think the sweet spot for me is like 52 grams to like 62 grams,
Interesting.
or maybe 65.
That is really interesting.
You should try like a G Pro Superlight clone that's like 30 grams. Like it's 1-to-1,
I would
exactly
love
the
to see
same,
that.
and just see like how it compares.
I've tried the like a while back. I used the XM1R to try and help me win a Kovacs league, and that was, what was that weight? 72 grams, I
70?
think.
Yeah.
I did notice that if it gets above 65 to 70 grams, then I noticed like, okay, this is a little bit heavy. But I actually didn't mind that mouse. So I think endgame gear shapes are pretty nice for me, in my experience. But there's no sign of me switching to that as long as I keep hitting the scores that I'm hitting with the G Pro X.
I'm
It's a
mostly
perfect
curious
shape.
about the weight because I've had a very good experience with the HTS Ultra recently. Even though I don't like the shape as much, it's like 30 grams or something. And I don't know, there is something about that mouse that I'm noticing. And I don't like it as much in aim trainers, but I think I like it more in some games than the OP1.
What
So,
games?
like COD, Valorant are the main two. I haven't really
Mhm.
tested much else. Like I want to try Overwatch and Apex, but I haven't yet. But
Why
yeah,
I think
is
it'd be a
that,
really
though?
good experiment because
I think
in
so
my
too.
mind, there is not that much reason to go to higher weight. Like, there's definitely that stability argument, but we need to isolate some variables
It's
for
minuscule.
sure.
Yeah.
You think either way, it's like minuscule.
Yeah, the stability thing, the control thing, like it's so tiny. But
I see.
like
I see.
I guess at the level that you're fighting for world records with Clover, like then it matters. So
That's fair.
That's fair.
Although he's on like what? What mouse is he on? He's on 24 CM Skypad right now.
he's on the XM to 8K.
Oh yeah, that's right. Although he has
He's
been
goated.
using like K83 for a little. And he does
Oh
like
yeah,
it.
you got it yesterday.
Mhm.
That's cool.
But yeah, for the Superlight, I'm pretty sure like can't you get a lower weight one, but like it'll have honeycomb? I don't like honeycomb mice.
I think
That's why I
there's
stopped
lower weight
using-
ones without honeycomb now.
Uh,
Like sub
check it out.
40s without.
I would find that for you. I really want to know.
or I could just send it to someone to get a weight reduction. Like
True.
just cut the
I
mouse on
suppose
the
that's
inside.
true. I think we should have a few questions directed at Matty. Just let him yap about some aim stuff because I think it'd be good. So, question from JJ: what is flick consciousness?
All right. Okay, that's like a
I might have
deeper
caused the
question.
confusion. I'm sorry. I mentioned it in a video and I don't know if I like fully explained it. So that might be what's caused this.
Wait. Well, okay, I'll go into what I think mostly what it is. It's just when you can kind of tell where your flick, like where you're going on the map or where you're going on the screen when you take a flick. When you kind of know where exactly your flick is going to land, or you know the direction of where your flick's going, and if you know that, you'll be able to like string together flicks. You'll be able to have good fluidity after you take the flick because you'll have that confidence like, okay, I know I'm probably going to land there, or I'm going to land, like, if you're really good, I'm going to land exactly here, like that kind of thing. You don't really need to exactly be looking at the flick to be landing where you want it to land.
Mm-hmm. And how would someone develop that skill? And are there any external factors?
You want to be flicking a lot, so I would choose like a scenario for wide wall, with like small targets, few targets, and I would be telling them like, take flicks fast and try to do it as accurately as possible, and try to move on from your flick as fast as possible, so that it keeps that like peripheral vision working. That's kind of how I would do it.
And I
would do it
implement
in
a
like target
little,
switching.
like, note here.
Yeah.
I think Zionlo is a great person to look at for an example of this implemented really well. And I think what makes it work so well for him is that he like slows down mid flick, and the slower you're moving, the less motion blur your eyes will perceive, and the less motion blur will be visible on screen. So it's easier to kind of identify where you will be mid flick if you slow down ever so slightly at the end. And yeah, it can give you those benefits in, I don't know, a less mechanically taxing way than like full sending flicks and still trying to be aware of where they're going to land.
What was the video that you were saying that like that you mentioned that might have
It was
caused
in
this
my
question?
artisan video actually, because I thought it was really like noticeably easier on the Hien. So I talked about it a bit in that segment. Because it's got like a bit of texture to the surface, so I'm more aware of like where my hand is on the mouse pad.
I've really come around on that as like an aspect that I want on pads. Like you don't want scratchiness, but for the longest time I felt like glass pads, you just wanted a pure, smooth, no feedback experience. And that particular element was what I felt got hurt the most when you just like maximize that.
Have you noticed on glass pads, Matty? Because I have. It's one of the main things that like suffers for me.
Have I noticed what on glass pads?
A lack of flick consciousness because there's no real like feedback from the surface.
I think it's just for me the micro smoothness
That's fair.
and the consistency of my micros when using a glass pad. It's just not as good. I think flick consciousness, that comes down to like a more visual thing for me rather than internal, the textures of the pad that I can feel.
I guess since you mostly play like one mouse pad, it's not something that would really vary that much.
Yeah, I think it's more in my mind and what I'm like trying to do.
Can you expand upon that glass thing a bit? Because I feel like most people when they think glass pads are like, oh, micros are really easy.
Micros are really easy to pull off, but that comes with like the trade-off of like, okay, now you need to have pretty good control and you need to be really decisive about how you're microing. So if you don't really have too much confidence with that, you're going to end up like microing all over the place, right? You're going to end up with shaky micros. And for me, like, I bet if I played on this iPad for like a month, I could probably eliminate these issues. But there's other things that I don't use this iPad for, like external factors, humidity, environment. I don't like waking up, going downstairs and freaking logging onto an aim trainer. I put my wrist down and it's a icy cold slab. So yeah, those are the other reasons why I don't use this iPad. But
are there any other ones?
It's a trade-off, I think. Like other reasons, external.
That you don't really like glass? Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to swap my pads a lot. So I have a Raiden soft and a Raiden mid, and I like constantly swap between them. And then I have the Infinity Mice Infinite Speed that I only use for Overwatch. Very schizo. And yeah, I can't really swap a giant glass slab out very easily if I find it to be not used for something. I can keep it on the bottom of them.
Like storing a lot of different glass pads is a massive pain in the ass. And since you have 12 Raidens, like 12 sky pads, speaking from experience here, I have like a lot of glass pads. They suck to store. They're terrible. You can't fold them. You can't roll them. You can't hang them up on like a little rack thing. It just doesn't work. So yeah.
Can't take them to a LAN. I don't know how anyone takes a sky pad to a LAN.
I remember back at one of the ALGS events, Bazin actually bought a bunch of sky pads for people who were using sky pads at the LAN, and he gave them out for them
That's funny.
to use.
What about that one stipulation that I forget if this was the recent podcast, but if you use the SkyPad more, you polish it.
Honestly,
So
you are
those-
one of
those
the
are
only people in the
unpolished.
world that like that would apply to. I think I could see you getting that much use in that like it would be faster in the middle. Most people
If I
probably
could
not.
tolerate a SkyPad.
Yeah, if you
So,
would mean it.
So it's mostly like quality of life stuff that you don't
Yep.
like about glass pads. It's less about the aim characteristics.
I mean, I would be crazy to try and play static to the level that I'm playing it right now on a SkyPad. I'm not Cartoon. I am not that good. I'm not as good as Cartoon when it comes to that. So, I think SkyPad is for. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, especially people who deal in environments where there's a lot of variables like dust, sweat, external factors. So, and I'm one of those people. I would rather use Raiden, and Raiden I know is my end game.
Mm-hmm. I've got another question here.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, there's kind of two here. So first one is from Zohar Aim. When you take breaks, do you underperform when you come back? And also, how do you approach days where you are underperforming, and how do you make the most of them? And that one's by Ow 6.
Depends. Like, did he ask how long we take breaks?
Like weeks or months usually.
Oh well.
Have you ever?
I'll leave this up to you
done
guys. I
that?
don't take breaks like that long.
I have, and I've pretty consistently come back better if it's a long enough time frame because my mentality will have shifted so much surrounding aiming that I'm able to kind of have a look at my practice and how I'm doing things wrong. The last time I had a break that long would have been, I'm kind of on one now, but I guess like early 2023, and I came back and like Matty, you'll probably remember I played a lot of tracking coming from like a target switching background and completely like shifted my focus. And yeah, because of that fresh perspective, I was able to do a lot better. So that was the last time I took a break for like over a year. Besides that little like month-long breaks, I don't really get much less.
That's interesting because I've taken a break from season 3. I got kind of burnt out just playing the season 3 stuff.
Mhm.
And I got on season 5 and I do like it, but I still feel like I'm burnt out. Like, I don't know.
Interesting.
I haven't been on Kovacs too much, probably like 10 hours in the past like month or something, which is like nothing. And I've just been playing games instead. And I've
Motivation ebbs
noticed
and flows. I don't think it's too bad.
the funniest
do.
thing though is that I've noticed my performance is actually like worse without
Huh.
playing Kovacs. Especially my flicks and stuff, like I'm not as confident with them.
Did you expect that? Because I wouldn't have.
I mean, for me, it's more just like I don't know. I feel like what I used to do is I would play TS scenarios, like just like like jumbo scenarios, stuff like that, before I got on the game.
Mhm.
And then when I got on the game, I was more confident and stuff. And now I've noticed myself not going for the like the off screens and the just like stuff like that when I'm in the game.
Mhm.
And the game is Call of Duty, so it's not like it's not like Overwatch where like your life really really matters. It's more just like I get on, I go for clips and stuff. But I don't know. I've noticed with other Kovacs, my performance has suffered a bit.
As if I value my life when I play Overwatch. But I think I've only taken like week-long breaks.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because whenever I take like even like Christmas break, I always feel so terrible coming back, and it takes me a while till I get another PB on a scenario. And I've kind of like I've set myself to this weird state of I have to hit a high score every day, and I've been keeping that for ever since Rebel Ready Check. I think I've been keeping that.
That's insane.
That's fucked.
I feel like the only reason why I would take a more extended break, like months, would be to alleviate wrist problems.
You don't
And
think
even
you'd ever
then,
get like
going through
bored or
that,
anything?
am I getting bored? Like, it's if I'm not playing aim trainers, what the heck else am I doing? Like, do I enjoy Overwatch? Let's answer that question. Do I fundamentally enjoy the core gameplay of Overwatch enough to choose to play that over an aim trainer any day at any time? No. No.
Okay, that's
Please,
fair.
That's
no.
really funny.
And
And
do you
So-
think a game could exist that would make you main that over your aim turner of choice?
the finals felt like that for a little bit.
Interesting. Tap in, tap in. I will play medic.
like it.
Before the finals, it was 100% diabolical, but then diabolical kind of fell off, and I kind of entered a deep depression over that. But
Same.
for me, it's like I can't really take that kind of break because I kind of would find myself really bored of everything else, and I only really find a lot of satisfaction in Kovacs. So
Mhm.
that's kind of my life nowadays. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like when it comes to a point where it's like, oh, I can't really continue pushing that much. I hope by then I have like a normal Bob job.
Well, I was gonna
That I
say,
can
what
devote
would
time
what
to.
would cause you to like not be able to continue? I guess
Normal
like a hand
Bob
injury or
job.
job, yeah.
A wrist injury, something like that. And I think at that point, if something happens where I can't play Kovacs anymore, I'm just gonna be a Path of Exile streamer. That's what I'm just gonna become. So yeah, I
mean,
don't
I
really
think-
take breaks.
I think you're in a good spot where you could probably stream anything. People would show up.
I would hope so, but I tried streaming Rivals, and that was a low viewer count stream.
Mm.
It's probably because of my vibes though. Like, I don't have good vibes playing games that I don't like. So
Mm.
Yeah.
What don't you like about that game?
what I don't like about Marvel Rivals?
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals should be a case study for what not to do in sound design for when you develop a video game.
And for
Giant
the Kovacs
character?
brain, it's rough. I know what you're talking about, Matty. I completely
Yeah, giant
agree.
character to your like behind you, stomping around, but you hear nothing. You don't hear them. When you shoot someone and you kill them, you get like Kovacs default ding, instead of like a visceral sound that you would get in like Overwatch or CS. So it's not satisfying to play.
It's more unsatisfying that it is like actively upsetting mechanically.
Well, there's so many things that are close to Overwatch. So you've got Scarlet Witch. I'm Moira Overwatch. I don't have to aim at you. I can aim in your vicinity, and I will deal insane damage to you. Other ults where they just scream in your face and you just die automatically without knowing what happened to you. Like, I don't, I don't think I like these types of games.
I think we're the same where it's
fair.
like, you know, for us to put up with mechanics that we don't enjoy in a game and like dying to them a lot, there has to be something rewarding there. And like good mechanics is part of it, good feedback is another part of it. And it's just kind of missing from Marvel Rivals IMO.
That's well said.
At least Overwatch has it, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, I hate Widowmaker,
What?
but feels good to kill on Widowmaker.
What would be your ideal FPS game?
Diabolical.
Really?
One simple answer. I mean, okay.
Do you enjoy like the stack management stuff, like in Duel, or do you just want it to be like Wipeout?
I think I always like whenever I watch Quake matches, I'm like, that is a big part of things that I like about old arena FPS. Like, I don't know why games these days don't do that. Why don't they have
It's
pickups and stuff, gun pickups and stuff that you have to defend from your opponent, like health packs, and it's like
I mean, it widens the skill gap even more.
it's probably why I like
There was
it.
a cool tourney where there was the best mechanical player in Diabolical versus the best like timing player. And the mechanical player would have like double the other person's damage and still lose like really badly.
I think there's a fine balance to be
Yeah.
found. I mean, ultimately, I probably would want my aim to carry me more than my timings, but yeah, I think simple answer for me is something like Diabolical, something that uses the old game modes from UT 2004 as well. I don't see any developers doing that, but yeah, something like that. I don't know what you guys' answer would be to that.
Well, what are some of the old game modes?
There's this cool one, double domination. So there's 2 teams. You have 2 control points, opposite areas of the map, and like one team has to control both points for like a certain amount of time, and then they get a round, and then it starts over, and then you can keep fighting, and then they have to like recapture points, so they have to control both points.
I see. I see.
Let's see what else. Another one. Another one is like the mutant, where it's like a random player is selected to be the mutant, and then they have like all these superpower abilities, and they have to like sort of compete against this like swarm of other players, and then whoever kills them becomes mutant. It's a FFA mode, so
I think
it's also fun.
asymmetrical FPS actually has like a fair bit of untapped potential.
Have you ever looked at natural selection too, Matty?
I have not.
It's really cool. There's like one person who gets to be like the commander, and they play an RTS, and their units are like the players who are playing like a pretty high skill like FPS.
It's very mechanically deep, and it's asymmetrical. Like one side is aliens, one side is humans, and they fight, and they have completely different sets of like abilities and skill sets. And
Sounds interesting.
It's
the
really
aliens
good.
are all like have crazy movement tech. They're like flying at you, but they're all melee. And then all of the Marines just have like a tracking gun or like a shotgun.
You got to track the crazy movement. It's really fun. I really like playing that game.
RT FPS. Huh. Interesting.
There's something there, but I would never want to be the commander. I'd be terrified.
You fuck up and your whole team just flames you.
I could play RTS. Pretty sure I could still play Warcraft 3 to a certain level of multiplayer. I could still beat people.
That's cool.
Just out of memory.
I was gonna say like you're like owning as commander. You hop out of the chair and just like full track everybody, and you go back in. That'd be so cool.
I'll check that out. This looks it's a fun idea.
It's very
It's
dead.
extremely dead. We can hop on Diabolical. I don't think we can hop on NS2.
I guess the community game or something. I don't know. It's tough because it's so different.
God, that'd be so cool. But I think it's not free, and that makes it tricky.
Yeah.
I have another question for Matty. What are some mistakes that you would want to avoid, and what are the things you wish you knew sooner in your early aim training days?
Well, we have the 20-hour tile frenzy phase. I'm not doing that again. I think that I would do more tracking because, like I said, I was a clicking main. I looked up to Bardas and Cartoon. It wasn't really until I started to get into like air and like tracking stuff, like after Clover, that I started to like kind of become a big player in those other categories. Because when Clover came on the scene, that was like the speed that he kind of took away my records in PGTI, air, and the current things that were going on in VT. I was like, wait a minute, I am nowhere close to this.
It was cool because I've been Clover fan since like, oh god, it's been years now, 2020, 2021. I've been saying like this guy could be best tracker in the world. And yeah, he's the person who got me to practice it as well. And it's been really cool seeing that like air skill then balloon out into just like the best tracker in the world.
Extra control sphere.
That was what did it apparently. That was like the catalyst.
That scenario is hard.
It's fucking impossible.
I love that scenario. But I only love that scenario because of Clover. Yeah, Clover kind of inspired me to do all this tracking stuff. Inspires me to do a lot of things at this point. Like I'm on a high sends grind. There's a lot of not as high as 24 CM. I'm not that crazy.
What are you on right now?
I'm on 27, so
it's still high. Yeah.
But I would do tracking. I think my most underplayed category, though, above all, was just switching. There's still switching scenarios that I don't really enjoy. I don't like bounce TS. I think I'm like really falling off on bounce TS, and I don't really have any motivation to grind it. But if I was starting out again, I would probably like have to grind that just to get good at it.
Do you think it's a valuable like scenario compared to other categories, or just like you want to be better at it now?
I just want to keep up with like evasive. That's really the goal. I don't really want to keep it like I don't want to push it. Like I don't have any motivation to push bounce TS and things like that.
What game would bounce TS even help for?
It would help for Overwatch actually. It would
Fair.
because the bouncing is very predictable across those scenarios, and when people jump in Overwatch, it's also very predictable.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Other mistakes. I would probably be a less flick-oriented person. Like
Interesting.
always. Before I got into aim training, if you saw my old clips, like one of the biggest advices that people give to Overwatch players is to stop treating every motion like a flick. And I suffered from that a lot. Like clicking heroes like Widowmaker, I flicked for everything. And I would have to get out of that habit if I was looking at things and learning things a bit sooner. Can't really think of much else.
That's a good one though. I feel like a lot of like TF2 snipers do the same thing, and people, I don't know, they just make every shot hard. But it feels great when you hit them.
I can only hit I have a thing with my Overwatch team. Like I only hit the hard shots, and when it comes to an easy shot, I don't hit those.
You're like Draken from Counter-Strike, if you're familiar.
I've heard of the name.
He just hit
Opera?
these like stupid, he hit these stupid alt flicks on people like who weren't even on his screen, and then like someone's on his screen right in front of him, and he'd like flick off them.
Yeah, that's me in real games.
What do you suppose that is?
It's just a flick-oriented style, and also like a lot of people like to criticize my aim in real games, but to be honest, like I don't actively try to implement anything that I do in aim trainers in real games. Because like
Really?
I don't really care too much. If I did care, I would probably I would play Overwatch scenarios. I would play Overwatch playlists, but I don't do any of that. I don't train pure reactivity or stuff like that all too often
I see.
anymore.
So it's more of like you just let translation happen fairly naturally, but like you don't really train for Overwatch.
Even to the point of like I'll like ditch some of the fundamentals and I'll just try to have fun. Like I'll go for the hard shots intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
I get that.
That's why my streams are like that's what keeps the streams entertaining. People be like, oh, they why is Matty suffering in like Bob Low on Overwatch? Because I meme, bro. It's because it's funny.
Speaking of Tile Frenzy, I do have another question about speed clicking. What are his thoughts on speed clicking? Are there any reasonably feasible benefits that can come from speed clicking that I can cope myself into believing? Is the time I spent for 500 hours worth it? From Monarch.
Cope yourself into believing. I mean, I was gonna make a video about this, the Gridshot fallacy. It's like everyone came into aim training with the idea that they were gonna improve by playing Gridshot, but no. I don't. I'm trying to think. I don't have an answer to that question. I think it's only really good for endurance and for testing how long you can, torture your wrist. That's it. I don't think there's any beyond that. I'm sorry.
I think.
What about when
You
you're at
might-
like a really high level?
Like who is Aqua level?
Yeah.
It's kind of a different like skill set. I feel almost.
Mm-hmm.
I think peripheral awareness, maybe.
For me, actually, I think playing Gridshot did help, but this is because I was on, this is back in maybe 2018, 2019. I was on 70 cm with the G502, and to play Gridshot on that sense, I had to move my arm so much, and this really helped develop some good arm speed. And
That's funny.
I think it was actually helpful for that. Not as helpful as proper scenarios would have been, but it wasn't useless. I don't think that time was entirely wasted.
That was my experience to M channels as well. Was Gridshot, and it did not help me. So, I think it's very. It depends on the person.
It made me quit. in 2019.
I mean, yeah,
It made me
just
quit.
I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's bad, but I think it wasn't necessarily a total waste of time for me.
For
Like, I
me, it
don't
was a
recommend
waste of
it.
time. I was like, this shit is fucking worthless. I'm not doing this.
We stopped for like a few months, and then Pingu's
Yeah.
video came out. I'm like, wait a minute, I should be grinding this other stuff. And then I tried it, and I was like really trash. And then I sweated on it, and I was like, wait a minute, I should be playing popcorn and dynamic clicking. I got like 100 on Passu. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But
That's cool to think about, actually.
MattyOW exists because of Pingu.
yeah, but like I looked into the other playlists and found popcorn, other scenarios, and I had a wake up call because I wasn't too good at them. And then when I did become good at them, I pivoted. So
And I feel like they're more like rewarding to improve at than speed clicking as well. I feel like you'll pretty quickly run into like a soft limit with speed clicking that is just CPS. You won't get that with Passu.
or popcorn. Like you need. That's when I realized, like, oh wait, there's so much more going into this than just a general flick-oriented style. So big wake-up call. And I forget who asked that question, but I wouldn't cope yourself into believing that there's a huge benefit. Go play Passu. And honestly, like you can reach a point. I'm proof that you can reach a point on like easy Passu where it feels like speed clicking. So go for that.
I like that.
A good answer.
You want to do one more question for the group?
Do we want to talk about the coaching?
Oh yeah, the coaching.
All right, sure.
And then this will be last one because I think we have to eat now.
Yeah. So Lele asks, what's the point of getting an aim coach, and does an aim coach have to play the game they're coaching for, / does a coach have to be good at aiming?
I think we should cover this one at a time. Like, firstly, who should get a coach? Because this is a fairly dense question, I think.
Do you really suck? I feel like if you really, really are bad, you probably want a coach.
I don't
I don't necessarily agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
I think a coach can kind of supplant self-analysis and like give you direction as to like what to practice. But when you're really new to aim training or just aiming as a whole, so many of your issues will be purely mechanical, just a lack of practice, that an aim coach can't really tell you that much. That is just like, oh, just play more.
Maybe if you have like been at a lower rank for like a long time and you've done that self-analysis and you don't know,
If you're stuck,
then
Yeah.
It's not even, I don't even think if it's just because you're like bad or something, or like you're not reaching it. It's like even people who don't have the time. So like if we pivot towards pros, talking about pros, they don't have the time to look at that stuff. They don't have the time, like Elige, he wanted to dedicate this time to do VOD review for his aim to a coach. So me, so Viscos, and we're able to pick up some of that cognitive load that he would better use in practicing to win tournaments, which is ultimately what both sides are trying to reach in terms of a goal. So it's not just it's not just missing the critical information. Like they could probably gain that critical information if they had the time, but they just shouldn't be spending that time doing that, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why none of us are pro and they are, and it's because they've put that time into, analyzing the game, practicing that specific game, and like, when I played Counter-Strike, I just shot the people. There was no like, I don't know, super in-depth tactics there.
Do
for
you
me.
think you could have put your mechanics into words back then?
No, depends how far back we
That's
go.
interesting. Yeah, same.
Certainly not as well as I could now, but
I guess the other side of the coin is that self-analysis and being able to both derive errors and sources of errors from your own gameplay is a skill in itself. And it's one I would definitely recommend that anybody who plays FPSs and has that kind of mindset towards improving at things should improve at. However, it can make that less important during like the early stage or just like generally in your progression and have somebody else do it for you in a way.
As well as like if a coach is good, they will give you that knowledge of how to, perform self-analysis and like give yourself the knowledge needed to coach yourself going forward. Our goal with AMPed is always to like inform people to the point where they don't need a coach unless they don't have the time, which is the only reason Elijah is still doing it, I think. Like he knows enough now to coach himself. He just doesn't have the time. So that's another thing coaching can give you, the ability to perform that self-analysis.
Yeah.
Does an aim coach have to be good at the game that they're coaching? I
This
mean,
one's tricky.
I feel like yes. I don't know. It's just me, but I feel like you have to be like at least somewhat decent. You have to know the game. It,
I
it
think
feels really weird if you don't.
Well, like,
aiming is a bit different than other disciplines because there are stories of like, oh, this coach doesn't even do like boxing and he made this guy the best boxer ever. There's no literature and there's no sources you can really look at. You have to have like gotten that information yourself. And I think the only way to right now is just to have put in the work.
Yeah.
I feel
I will
like
say that work can come from multiple places though. Like for Valorant, I have 100 hours in that game. I'm not very good, and I've coached professional Valorant players, and I've told them up front, like, I haven't played much. I have a lot of experience in Counter-Strike. I've watched a lot of Valorant, and I have a lot of experience in aim trainers, obviously, and coaching people. And I'd say the coaching went really well. They were all
Just
happy with the
straight up,
outcome.
yeah.
you're an outlier. I don't feel like most people could do that. You're just
I
very, very
want
good at what
to-
you do.
I mean, I think most people at my level of experience in aim training and my time writing about aim could do it.
Yeah.
But most people who are like, I was also not bad at Valorant when I did play. I feel like most people who are like, I don't know, silver in Valorant and like decent in aim trainers probably shouldn't be coaching professional Valorant players because there's an experience gap in terms of game knowledge. There's an experience gap in terms of mechanics, and I feel like that would be really tough. And something else I want to mention is that coaching Elige has actually been really tough because he is like significantly better than me, to the point where I have to really strain to pick out any weaknesses in his gameplay. It takes a lot of analysis. It takes like 4 times as long in terms of pure VOD reviews for like Elige versus like normal coaching. And I can't help but wonder if this is what would happen if I was at a lower skill mechanically. I don't know.
I feel like with Valorant, it's just obviously at that level with coaching Elige, like I don't
I know
want
you
to.
were having some troubles with it too, Matty.
I think it's mostly because he's been through multiple coaches of Amped, and he's freaking Voltaic Nova, so like he
Yeah.
knows this stuff already, to a good extent. I feel like your catch on the Valorant thing, on the rank on that's where so many people try to get me on, and it's like I agree that like having that knowledge in the game of Valorant or CS, like that is very beneficial if you're an aim coach. But I think as an aim coach, it's more about like developing those raw mechanical fundamentals that is universal across like most, if not all games, FPS games.
Well, you can study like Valorant mechanics and Valorant like team play, Valorant strategy, peak mechanics, all of that stuff. You can learn it. There are resources out there. There's more resources for learning that without being really good at it than there is for learning aim without being really good at it. And I think eventually, with enough time and enough resources being made from the community, someone could learn them well enough to be a decent aim coach without being like a high level mechanically. But I still would be skeptical of their problem solving ability. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can understand like people being skeptical of like me like coaching Valorant because like Matty quit Valorant in under 2 weeks.
What I'm saying doesn't apply to you. I think you're more than qualified.
I
to
know
coach
it
Valorant.
was just I just think that a lot of people fall into like the skepticism anyways, but
I think it's the difference between like a personal trainer and somebody who's coaching you for playing your sport well. They're so different in function.
I also think like there's a big difference between coach and teacher. Like it's aim coach. Like there's not we're trying to like be collaborative guides to players. We're not trying to like impart a ton of like specific knowledge and we're just gonna let them go free with it. Like we're walking alongside the players that we work with, and we're putting them like in a position that is equal to us in terms of learning and developing the skill. So it's not that a aim coach has to be like good at the game. Like they have to be a good coach. They have to understand like fundamentals of psychology and how to motivate players, things like that. Like that will define, I think, a good coach. For anyone who's looking for a coach, like that's what you should kind of be looking for if they can support that kind of mindset.
I feel like
I
most
don't
of
know
what
if
you've
that
said so
really.
far applies to coaching pros, which is interesting, the difference in perspective. I feel like when people ask this question, they mean like, I don't know, not casual players, but like people who are not pros, maybe they want to be.
Well, coaching a pro versus coaching a random player, like who just wants to get better at their like scenarios or their game, like it's very different. Very, very different.
It's all a matter of goals, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Exactly.
This is why it's going to change case by case.
Yeah.
Which is why it's like, I don't know why people like to criticize me over like, oh, Matty's just going to teach you to score farm. Like, my coaching's not scripted. My coaching is not scripted. Like, it's not MattyEXE. Like, oh, hello, I'm MattyOW. Would you like to learn about score farming, or do you want to improve it in game? Like,
It's so
It's
strange.
not-
I have to assume that like they think you think the pros want to improve their Kovac scores and like that's their main focus, but that's not why they're coming to you, and they know that you know that that's why they're not coming to you. The pros do. It's very strange to me that like narrative has. I don't think it has as much like prevalence as it might feel to you, Matty, but surprising it exists at all.
I mean, it's a weird way because like I kind of see it everywhere whenever I post things. But in terms of like being good at aiming, like for an aim coach, like we don't mean like strictly good at getting scores. Like you just understand what to tell your client, and based on what you see your client doing, like you know what to call it. You know what a micro. You know how to perform micros. You know how to recognize issues with micros and stuff like that. So it doesn't really need to be strictly. I don't know how you would characterize good at aiming though. Like there's a lot of subjective stuff you could say about this here.
I think the tricky thing for me with like if I were to get coached personally by someone who like wasn't that good mechanically, my main worry would be their ability to problem solve, you know, because that is a super big part of coaching, and it's something that every good aimer has had to go through, you know, working through issues mechanically very consciously. It's like a guarantee that they will more than likely know what they're talking about, or at the very least, they're very dedicated to what they do. So I think it definitely like adds a fair bit of credibility. I don't think they need to be like crazy good, but yeah.
They just need to have that evidence that they've gone through that.
Because
I
yeah,
think.
self-analysis can happen for them or others, like from their POV, but you can't prove it if it was for others unless you show your coaching and stuff.
What do you think about people who are good in game but don't play aim trainers or don't have like very good scores?
Calling me out?
Well, I would trust Hollow to do aim coaching. And he's like, I think Diamond Voltaic, which isn't bad, but it's not like standout. So yeah, I guess that's fine.
How about you, Matty?
As long
You
as
can
they have that understanding.
You can assume like, some of these players that have really good aiming game. What if they just spent like a good amount of hours and they would probably get pretty high ranks at VT?
I agree.
I actually have confidence in that.
I mean, we've seen it with the Liege, you know, he's like Nova in his best categories. I think he has like 300 hours in him training.
That's
so
insane.
compared to like most Nova players, that's really low.
I was what was I? Started Voltaic Jade at 300 hours. So that is insane.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add to that topic?
What about some like things to avoid, like red flags from aim coaches?
I think anyone who claims like, yeah, I think anyone who claims like crazy results, I guarantee, is like inherently dodgy to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think people who have not proven their understanding of mechanics, either through, you know, like public resources, coaching history, and, you know, a lot of the time you can read their resources and see, like, okay, does this person know what they're talking about, or are they clueless? And I think that's the best thing you can do. Like, but it's tough because how do you evaluate the resource if you don't know the skill?
That is
I don't know.
tricky.
You just have to look for those like snake oil sounding things, right? The buzzwords.
Who's someone you would call out?
Maybe we don't
Should I do
that. Maybe chill.
I really, really want to,
List
but
them.
I won't.
List them now.
You can say
But,
it, and then you can just let us know in like 4 days if you want to cut it.
Nah, go on my
No
stream.
cuts.
For anyone who wants to hear it, just go on my stream and I'll yap about them forever. But
respect
the ones that you want to avoid are really just people who hyper focus on things. Like they'll put out a video and they'll hyper focus on like this is the one issue that you need to fix
Yeah.
to get the best aim. This is the 1%, like this is the one thing, like the secret formula to get better aim or to fix your tracking. Like those should be red flags for you.
I think people who don't offer enough nuance, they just say that something is wrong. They don't say why, or they say something is good and they don't say why. That's also
The amount of
Yeah.
people
really
who
big
I've
red
heard
flag.
say
You're
like
tracking wrong. You're focused on the wrong aim style.
the amount of people who I've heard say like leading shots is like poor technique is insane to me because they don't elaborate on why it's bad. They're just like, you want to be flicking to the target, not to where the target will be. Okay, why? What's the
And
reasoning
yet-
here? Because this is contentious, you know?
They can't
And
tell.
yet linear clicking, like
Mhm.
the direct translation that I've established with crosshair placement. But yeah, and it's like another thing, copy paste routines. Like they'll have the same playlist, they'll have the same kind of structure with things, and it's like, oh, I made this routine for this client, but it's the exact same as this client and this other client. Why? And it's like, yeah, that kind of gives a weird taste.
Yeah.
So
That one's trickier to find out though. But if two people are getting the exact same routine and they have different issues, like that is a big red flag.
it is hard to vet coaches if you're trying
It
to select
really
one.
is.
And even then, it's like, even if you have like a resource, like say someone like really trusts Voltaic, it's like, you know, I don't coach individually, I coach pros only. So it's like, you know, even then it's hard to find someone. There's a lot of questions you gotta ask.
I also don't agree with like every voltaic resource, you know. A lot of the ones I throw are
Of
older,
course.
but you know, there will always be stuff that's like tenuous.
There was someone in the Discord earlier who said like, "Oh, I miss when like aiming wasn't so like solved or figured out, and we're like, oh, just kind of like walking in the dark." That's still where we are. There are so few resources that I can like 100% vouch with confidence, and it's honestly like a little scary how many grifters there are in the community.
Pay attention to if people explain their points. If someone just says something is bad and does not explain why, that's something you can pick up on immediately and be like, okay, why wouldn't they explain this? Can they not put it into words? Did they not know? You know, in a video, it could be for time reasons, but if it's a consistent trend of not explaining things or explaining them poorly, yeah, that's how I would judge it personally.
I didn't know jack shit till I talked to this guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Or if they make a third party attempt to reference aim science or aim theory.
Uh-oh.
Do not listen.
Cancel the video.
That is-
Biscuits.
That is
I
not.
think invoking neuroscience for no reason is something that
Yes,
sticks
that's
out
a
to me a lot
huge
in like
red
really
flag.
bad aim videos.
If people start talking about neurotransmitters in the middle of your discussion about
Don't like
Valorant,
that.
be careful.
That one video I watched where it was like, you have to turn your targets in Kovacs green because green is like good for your brain.
I hate it.
Green, your brain loves green. Don't put them red. Put
Um,
them green.
I try with my videos to always like I don't make any appeals to. I try to make very little appeals to other sources. Like it's just what is on screen. Here's the translation. Here's what you need to do and why. And I don't try to make it complex.
Yeah.
Like oh, this technique is the technique that stimulates your brain to look for these certain cues on screen. I'll never do that.
This will get you celestial complete.
I feel like there
Make
are
sure you like
always
the video.
like better ways of explaining anything where people kind of resort to neurotransmitters and shit. Like just explain it in human terms, you know. You don't need to appeal to the aesthetic of science to make a good informative aim video.
It's such a huge red flag when people cannot put their points into very easily understood terms. And like maybe people are just like bad at like knowing what is a layman term and what isn't, but like most of the time, if you are being overwhelmed by information that does not really feel that relevant, and there's a lot of jargon being thrown at you, that's like a omega red flag.
Trying to sound smart, yeah.
Legit though, I click on a video, I'm like, am I in fucking year 10 science again? Like, what is this? Like, I just want to click the dots. I don't want to learn fucking Bunsen burners and all that.
And it's tricky because there are times to invoke science. I'm not anti-science, but
Me neither.
it has to be done for
Well, you hate Bunsen.
The right
you're
reason.
anti-high school
Well-
science, but you know, not science conceptually.
Okay, that's fair.
Continue.
Like in a video I'm making about polling rate, there has been a study on the topic, and I'm going to talk about the study, talk about where I think it like is valuable, where I think it isn't valuable. But you know, the study has to be evaluated. It can't just be pointed to and used as like, I'm right, I have a study.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
It's like you have a whole bibliography of just sources, and then you don't use them correctly at all.
You just name them.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of just points at like this is what their coaching is going to be like. So you hire them and you jump in a call, and then they continue doing that stuff. Like, yeah, that's
Met
your
with an
sign.
earful of
It's legit
incomprehensible
like,
jargon.
believe me, bro. Believe me. You know? That's all it is.
And interestingly, on the voltaic smoothness video, there has been some people who like are kind of disturbed by the fact that it's so easy to understand. They'll be like, "Really? That's it? Everything here is so obvious."
Can't be this easy.
Because it's overblown. All of these things.
The power of, I don't know, writing a video in a way that is easy to understand instead of being needlessly complicated.
This can't be the science.
That's why I miss the Read by the Way videos. Read by the Way.
I thought
Like
it
all
was,
the-
was really cool. It was
seen
very
it.
personable.
Where'd he go?
Like very simple terms, breaking down each subcategory. Really good videos. And I wish that he kept making videos. I don't know what happened to him, but
He's just living life now. We, was
my
it?
God.
he's chilling.
We have, I don't remember if it was like a long exchange of messages or just one message. He told me something about it. I don't remember what though. I'm sorry. He's living life though. He's doing well for himself.
Fuck him. Come back to Kovacs. Your videos were good.
I'll pick it up. I'll make the extremely layman's terms
Thank you.
Kovacs
Matty.
videos.
We need them.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't see myself making like equivalent
Category
videos,
guides.
like category guides. Voltaic wanted us to make them. Pingu and I, we didn't want to make them.
Yeah, we would always try to like relate it more to games and then like have
Yeah.
overarching like storylines, things like that. But
Well, the smoothest video was originally a category video,
Yeah.
and then it kind of ballooned into its own thing.
I'm gonna do scenario breakdowns for videos.
That'd be good.
That would
That's
be
how small I'm willing to
cool.
go.
Yeah, you should.
Like literal
Even if they're just like really
5
short
minutes.
videos. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Be sure.
Do this, do that, get a high score. GG.
Like a random dead dudes. He has one for popcorn, I think, and one for
Psalm?
Psalm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched his Psalm video. It helped me.
It is good. It is
It's
good.
very good. Stuff like that
First-
is so underrated, though. I feel like there's not enough stuff like that.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah. There's
complete
definitely a
noobs.
space in the
Yeah.
in the niche.
How many views does it have? I'm gonna actually really check. This video introduced me to pathing. Like this is the first
That's
time
cool.
that I had to think about like, oh wait, this is actually I have to pay attention to my peripheral and choose targets wisely. Wow. And it only has
Yeah.
20K views.
20K.
That's not bad though, considering it's a like scenario within a niche set of benches within a community. There's a subset of a niche skill for FPS games.
I guess, but I would have thought more. I feel like it's one of those things, though. When I was brand new to aiming and Kovacs and stuff, I would Google the scenario.
I feel like
and
that's
see how
not
other people do
as
it.
common as you think.
Scenario
Really?
breakdown. It needs to have
Your-
a story to it.
Not even breakdown. I watched a lot of your videos actually, Matty. Just for like how to play the scenario. Like, do you need to go fast? Do you need to concentrate on accuracy? You know, stuff like that.
That's why I keep all my VODs up.
Yeah.
It is nice having a reference of like every scenario ever if I need footage for a video. I can just go to your channel, look it up.
For me, it's like just reference of like how should I play this?
I don't think it's that common though,
Really?
JD, but especially when the scenario probably has like what, 100,000 plays, maybe a bit more across
Maybe
all the
less, actually.
versions. I feel like 20K is really good, so I feel like there's
It's not
potential
bad.
there. I think that's all I
Yeah, what
wanted to
else
say
is
about the
there?
topic of coaching and stuff. And I
me
think
too.
we do need to go eat soon.
What are you
I love
eating?
Matty.
We got Thai food.
Did you like the frag video I made for you?
Oh yeah, I like the song.
Thank you.
It's a good song.
Go listen to the new Where album. I think that's the
I
other
think it-
song. Go ahead.
Wait, what, I think it like did you time certain shots to like beats?
Of course, of course.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's why I liked it.
This thinking goes crazy.
I need to do another clip dump.
You do.
I have
You
clip.
You
do.
should. Yes.
It pisses me off so much when people bring you up and they're like, "Yeah, not very good in game." Like,
Oh my god, I know. I see that on Reddit all the time. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Matty,
MattyOW,
think they're,
best
like-
best aim, like best Kovacs player, but worst aim in game, like average aim. It's like, oh,
Let's
I'm
see
just
their
sitting
aim.
there, like, yeah, exactly. They never ever have any clips themselves.
yeah.
I feel like they're either too. Is this too incendiary? I feel like they're either too stupid
for
to
it.
notice nuances in mechanics or don't understand that you don't care
They
about
dumb as
in-game
shit.
performance, Matty.
Like I wonder how much time, like even if they do have clips, I wonder how much time they spend on the game versus and how much care they place into it versus how much care I place into it. It's like, oh wow, dude, you spent like 1000% effort to hit this clip. But like I know my clip is like a little bit worse, but I spent like 10% effort. Like that's kind of how I feel.
It always makes me chuckle when people say like, "Oh yeah, Viscose is just like a hard grinder, 10 hours a day."
Yeah,
Maybe,
she
like,
plays
10
she
hours
plays
a day,
against
slay the
noobs.
spire.
Yeah, maybe slow this
I haven't not put 10 hours like in a single day into an FPS game in genuinely years.
I can
don't
vouch.
know.
You get on, and in 1 hour, you get like a clip dump for Twitter. I hate it. I wish I could do that, but yeah.
I've seen you do it. You've gotten like one day clip dumps before.
Yeah, okay, 1 day, 24 hours. You get on, you play 1 hour, and you're like, I think I have enough for
No.
Twitter.
You're exaggerating.
Sometimes.
I'm not.
Some sessions.
No, June, you vouch with me, right?
There are certain like Black Ops sessions or Fragpunk was like you could pump out a video a day.
Okay, that game was an exception.
No, we need to come back to
Humble.
Fred Punk when I play it.
It was so good.
We actually have to hop on the finals. This isn't like one of those like, oh yeah, met my friend from high school. Let's go meet up. We have to hop on the finals.
Get us on Power Shift. I want to play. I want to play.
And it's got 5 players max. We can all play on a team.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then we use it as background footage.
Yes.
Yeah, like not even ego. Like, what kind of ego? Like, I sustained top 500 levels, even with 10% effort. So
you're allowed to ego. I feel like
It's
You
there.
absolutely are.
I have no idea how this narrative is developed that you're like bad in game. I have
Yeah.
it's
no
because
idea.
of the takes that I have. They don't like my takes,
Too
and
incendiary.
they don't like my takes, and they don't like aim trainers because I don't know why they don't like aim trainers, but they combine that, and then they're like, okay, well, all aim trainers are trash at video games, so, and then they say that.
it's jealousy or something. It's like it's so strange. It's like they don't want to put in the time, so they just flame anyone who does.
Did we
How many
mention
times?
the giveaway, by the way? Did we mention it or did we all just
fuck,
forget?
We didn't. We all forgot.
Oh, wait, we have a giveaway going.
I might
Splice
just like
it.
shuffle this to the start.
Yeah. You. I was gonna edit this.
I was gonna have audio. Mine's
I'm happy
fucked.
to edit it.
No, the start of my audio is fucked. When we get an audio that's like fine, one of you two can edit it. This is my fuck up. I want to fix it. So
I had monitor and output
de-essing.
on, so you probably hear me twice in the first like 10 minutes.
Oh my god.
And then I was like, oh wait, they're gonna hear this, so I turned it off.
Well, no, it's in the desktop audio. That's fine, right?
that's okay.
Maybe. Just
Also,
play
how
catch
are
up.
you using a monitor from OBS? Isn't there like a delay?
I heard myself, but
Isn't that like how like the brain destroyer works, where you like hear yourself and suddenly you can't speak anymore?
I was worried that my voice wasn't picking up, so I turned on monitor and output so I could hear myself and make
Well, you
sure.
did better than me. Mine wasn't being picked up. So
All right.
Oh shit.
I was just like, is my voice getting picked up? And then I heard myself, and I'm like, okay, it must be. It must be, right? Fuck, I hope so. Submit your clips.
And join the Discord.
Okay, should we do like an end bit now?
Get out of here. We're ending.
I was thinking like, Matty, do you have any passing
Leave.
words for us? I think we're gonna call it here. Do you have anything you want to say?
Well, thank you for having me on, and
Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
I
it
hope
was really
like
fun.
people like kind of learn something from this. If it's anything, literally anything at all, and I hope they enjoyed.
If it's anything at all, play air.
Oh yeah,
Play
play air,
Twitch.
play Pasu.
Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, MattyOW.
Yeah, follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/MattyOW. You can see me play Kovacs and rage at Overwatch frequently. Follow my Twitter if you want to see like very terrible Overwatch takes but really, really good aim takes. and my YouTube for like the once in a year guide and almost daily Kovac VODs for any scenario. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's everything then. That was a long one.
That was a long one.
It was, but I don't know. I feel like it was worth it.
It's fun.
Me too.
Thanks for watching.